Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right. Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being part of the show. We are going to have a great show for you today. Anyway, folks, I got all this stuff started up a little late, so if you want me to call you out, city and state, and I'll give you a shout out. Anyway, welcome aboard. In our first number one chat, we've got Michael Rutnin from Brooklyn, New York. He also says, Egberto, just one for the screen. But I'd appreciate if you'd wait a bit for the conservatives in the chat to show up. Oh my God, he must have. I won't even look at it first. I'll wait for a few more to show up. We have Lita Bearcat in. Lita Bearcat says, is pardoning queer done for realigning? No. Let's not go there. Your president is a crook. Your president claims he's solving a drug problem, and what is he doing again? Oh, he's pardoning a lot of drug and dopies. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Yvette Avery Herod from Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome aboard, my beautiful Yvette. How are you doing? We also have Eric Hayes, who is in from King Wetaskiwin, and Harry Denson, my brother Harry Denson from Missouri City, Texas. Hey, today is a busy day. I did WBAI in New York earlier. I'm going to prepare that one, probably to play that tomorrow sometime. The pieces that I did with the one and only Jenna. What's Jenna's last name again? You know how my mind works. But anyway, Jenna at WBAI, and we also had today. I'm on WBW on what is it called? WBW on Latino, a Latino program where we're going to be discussing Venezuela and some other stuff. That one I have to wait till after they air it at WBA. No, WBA was New York this morning, and I'm on Washington D.C. this afternoon with what is it? WPFW in Washington D.C. So your guy is gonna be busy today, my friends. Your guy is gonna be busy today. All right, let's see. Let's see what else we've got here. Uh, let me just say this, Eric. As far as fraud is concerned, I am not going to spend my time discussing the fraud that right wingers want me to discuss when all of you guys are sitting down on a president that he is the definition of fraud. He is the definition of fraud with all that he does. So don't waste your time putting all that stuff in the chat about fraud, because what I may just do is ask Brother Rudnin if he has the ability to delete them. I believe in conversation, but I don't believe in flooding the market with crap. So don't bother putting crap in there, my dear brother. We're not gonna do that. If you want to, when you start calling out Donald Trump's fraud, when you start calling out the fraud of the military-industrial the military-industrial complex, then we can talk. Your president loves criminals. Remember that. All right. Anyway, folks, we're gonna have a great show for you today. Look, Angie Decadence, how you doing? Lynette, Philip Caper, old guy pissed. I know you gotta be. Manuel Olmo, ¿cómo estás, mi hermano? Ed Cole, Noah Nurse, Patsy Lossi, welcome aboard. Robert Nikaido, welcome aboard. Anyway, this was an eventful weekend. Myself, I spoke to Laura Jones. She's running for District 8. I spoke at her a community event slash fundraiser over the weekend in Very Red, Montgomery County. And what I wanted to let these folks understand is that don't this is the time to win. This is the time to win. So what I am going to do is I'm going to play that 12-minute piece that I did at that fundraiser slash community event, because I think the words, or I hope many of us will take these words and also use them as you're out there. But and I tell you what, let's go ahead and play Michael Short first. You know, I like to kind of give some deference to our people first. So let's go ahead and do Michael's Short, and then we'll take it. Whoa, what's that? Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Something is reverbing. Oh, it looks like I have one of my settings that somehow got looped. I may have a problem here, guys. I may have a problem. Let me see if it's gonna loop on this other one as well. Let's see. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, it's gonna loop. I must have a monitor set or something. Bear with me 1 second. I want to correct that because I want to play the brothers' stuff. Let's go ahead and put that here and go ahead and see if that solves the problem. And I'll do it like that. And I think, no, that doesn't solve the problem. So it may be a monitor problem. Let's go to the monitor on that line and see if monitor is set. The monitor is not set. Let's see. Let's try it. Let's try it. If it doesn't work, we'll figure it out some other time. Let's go ahead and try it now. Let's go ahead and try that. All right. Nah. Okay, we got a loop back that I've got to fix. I tell you what, let me go ahead and play the video for today, and then I'll try to look at the parameters and see what went wrong. So let's go ahead and play our video for the starting video, and then we'll take it after that. Let's go ahead and do that.
And now I'm just going to hand it over to Egberto.
Okay.
Thank you. There you go.
I need to give that too.
There you go.
All right, folks.
It's fading in and out a little bit.
Okay, it's fading in and down, so I need to speak a special certain kind of way. Okay. All right, folks. Welcome aboard. Thank you very much for being here for Laura Jones, who is the next congressperson out of District what again? Can you hear it? You know, this is something that the reason I started that way is specifically because we have a tendency to go into things not going in to win, but hoping to win, right? We have to go in to win. When Michelle asked me to speak, I don't know who kind of told her to ask me to speak. Maybe it's that lady there called Teresa. I don't know. Was that you, Teresa, who did that?
She asked me to call. Ask me.
Okay, great. All right. Anyhow, she didn't quite tell me what to talk about, and I don't know if that's a good thing to do when you have a radio host here, but I'm going to try. I generally just go ahead and say what's in the mind, what's in the heart. And for me, it's about why we have to go out there going forward to win. And when I say to win, it's basically because, again, first of all, we've seeded all these supposedly red areas over the last several decades. We've ceded this to Republicans for absolutely no reason. I haven't got a clue why we've done that. I'm originally from a Central American country called Panama. And in coming here, I've always wondered how the people that are most represented by the Democratic Party has left the Democratic Party. And the reality is many a times, and people get upset when I say it, but it is our fault, all of our faults. And what do I mean by that? We seeded it. Whenever these people speak, we have allowed them to go unchallenged, unnoticed. For those of you who listening to KPFT 90.1 FM, the stations that we talk about, we don't do that. We are right there letting folks understand why the best option for them is what? Or is whom? It's us. We are the ones who are supporting the projects that they need. We are the ones who are supporting the projects that they want, but they're not getting the word from us. And why aren't they getting the word from us? Because as we hear them say silly things, what do? We generally get quiet. We generally don't say much, etc., etc. So what are we to do? First of all, we should say to Donald Trump, thank you so kindly, because Donald Trump has given us the perfect opportunity to engage, something that we have not had a way of doing in a long time specifically. If you take a look at the great, big, beautiful bill, that has been a gift to us. If you take a look at what's happening in Venezuela, that's been a gift to us. If you take a look at what's happening with Epstein, that's been a gift to us. But guess what? The best gift that the Democratic Party has had this session is a guy in New York called Mam Danny. Because what that shows, what he did was magic. He went against the Democratic machine and beat them. He went against every machine and beat them. And how did he do that? Finally engaging the people. 10% of his voters were MAGA. Just what Laura is going to need. 10% of these MAGA folks out here are going to vote for her. And you know why they're going to vote for her? Because she's going to go out there and she's going to tell them all those benefits that you didn't know was a part of the Affordable Care Act. It is. All those benefits that you know that your kid is getting in school as a Title IX school came from us. That's what he's cutting. Every single thing that these people are doing hurts them more than it hurts us. I'm looking at a room here full of Democrats. You know what's special about all you guys? Y'all have money. Put bluntly, and I don't care if it's a few dollars or not, but you do. Compared to those folks in Timbuktu out here, compared to these farmers, etc. That's what you got. They don't know that. They don't know that. And the reason why they don't know that is we've ceded the intellect to those without. We've seated a guy named Dan Patrick, a radio show host. Look, I'm a radio show host, but we've seated a radio show host to run this state. I want you to think about that. That's who we seated to run this state. And he runs this state just like an uneducated radio host. We did that. That's what he is. Yes, that's what he is. Now, just to kind of defend myself, now I'm a radio show host too, but I'm a mechanical engineer, okay? And a software programmer. So listen to me, please. Listen to me, please, okay? Please listen. But anyhow, so how are we going to win this thing? First of all, we're going to respect, in my opinion, these are things I'm saying in my opinion, we are going to respect MAGA. Anybody got screams yet? Anybody going to scream yet? My friend Alistair Waters, who's always there on the show, talking and talking. You know what I'm talking about, Alistair. You know what I'm talking about. We are going to respect these people. We are going to talk to these people. When these people sneer at us, we're going to talk to them. Look, if I can talk to them looking the way I do, looking the way most of you do, you can too. You can too. We're going to respect these people. We're going to talk to these people. But before we even start talking to these people, we're going to listen to these people and see what really ails them. See how they really tick. Because you know what? I live in Kingwood, Texas, and I go to these Starbucks and all these different coffee shops, and everybody in Kingwood is red. A lot of them MAGA. And we sit down and we talk. And we sit down and many of them not knowing who we are. What happens many a times is they talk and they tell their stories, and you sit down and you agree with them and have a lot of fun with them. And guess what happens? They realize that you are kind of just like them, and you've established a rapport with them, and then they start to listen to you. I have two quick stories to tell you. Once a guy came, I'm in the gym, and he slapped me on the back. And he said, Berto, you're going to like me. I'm like, okay. And he said, I'm voting for your guy. And I'm like, oh, great. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. It's good for all the people, etc. And then he says, but I ain't no damn Democrat. And I said, you know what? I don't need you to be a Democrat to vote this way. I just need you to think about what's best in the best interest of all of us. And if you did that, that's good enough. The other quick story is I'm sitting down in a Starbucks, and I go to the Starbucks and I used to go there and write every day. I don't anymore because I'm boycotting it, but I used to write there every day. Yes, I'm boycotting it. Yes, yes. Anyway, so I would write and write and write and write. And this lady came up to me and she said, what do you do here all the time? And I told her I blog and I write articles, etc. And then she said, she's telling me about her medical problems, and she had insurance problems, etc. So I'm leading her and asking her what would she like her insurance to be like? What would you like to do? What would you like the insurance company to be like, etc. And by the way, I'm kind of leading her in the questions. So I'm feeling kind of guilty, but I'm doing it. But what she really liked, what she really asked for was something called Medicare for All. Who knows what that is? Medicare for All. Everybody heard about that. She wanted Medicare for All. She just didn't know what it was. So I looked at the woman and I said, ma'am, what you're describing here, do you know there's a name for it? I said, really? Yeah, it's called Medicare for All. She didn't know what the hell Medicare for All was, but I gave it a name. And then we kept on talking, and more this lady started to become a progressive. And I'm feeling guilty as hell now. I'm like, oh my God. So I said, before we go any further, ma'am, I want you to know that of everybody that you know around here, I am probably the most left-wing, pinko, liberal, progressive dude. Yay! And she looked at me wide-eyed, and she turned red, and she said, but you are so nice. And then I said, ma'am, there's a group in Kingwood called Liberals Who Lunch. You should go out with them and talk sometimes. We don't all have horns, because the reality is that's who they think we are. That's how they see us. They don't see our humanity. They don't see what we really look like. They don't see what we really think. All they think of is trans, guys in bathroom. All these things are used to distract. And what we have to show them in this election is we don't allow the distraction. If they bring up trans, let's bring up the economy. If they bring up bathroom bills, let's talk about how their parents themselves are going to qualify for Social Security. Don't play on their field. Play on our field, because our field is their field. I want to close this way. And this is many a time self-serving for a station, self-serving for my platform, self-serving for all these issues. Self-serving for something that my brother does here at Houston Democracy Project. Neil Aquino, who's coming up after me, great guy. He runs Houston Democracy Project. He's on Politics Done Right every single Thursday without fail at 6 in the morning, trying to inform. But here's the thing. If we are to be the informers and the supporters of all our politicians all over, stations like KPFT need your support as much as does Laura Jones need your support for her campaign. Organizations like Houston Democracy Project needs your support just as much as Ms. Jones and everybody else needs your support. And self-servingly, Politics Done Right, Egberto Off the Record, all these platforms, if we are to get things done, we all need these we all need these platforms supportive. So we can't say we want to win and not do what the other side does, and that is invest in their winners. That's right. Invest in their winners. We are going to invest in our winner. Yeah. Yes. Yes. We are going to invest in our winners. Let's invest in the platforms that will give our winner a voice. We have to remember that. Anyhow, without further ado, what do I do, Miss Michelle? Oh, where?
Right here.
All right, there you go.
All right.
All right, so that was what we did this weekend. I really enjoyed hanging out with. We were in the belly of red, red, red Montgomery County. Every time Laura Jones runs, she gets a little bit closer. And I think this is the year that she goes up. But what has to be done? What has to be done is we have to hold the bull by the horns. I know there are a few people like, don't talk to those people. I'm talking to everybody. I'm not going to give up my values, but I also will respect their, not their hateful values, but I will respect their needs. I will respect their wants. I will do what is necessary for us to win because we are the moral ones. We are the ethical ones. We are the ones that support humane policies. Don't allow any of them, don't allow any of them to somehow twist into, like some of them come on. What about what's going on in Minnesota with what the Somalis are doing? Peanuts. Don't fall for the trap. We are going to be on message. You know what, Mandami, really, I think, I can come on a radio show and I can say, this is what we need to do. Who the hell am I? But Mam Danny went out there and he did it. That was the example. He brought in new people into the movement because he listened. First of all, he listened to what they were asking for. He listened to what their needs were, and he created a platform, not one that he pulled out of the air, but he created a platform that was engaging the people who he will be representing. That's a real politician. Now, let me be clear. One is going to have to hold Mam Dani to the fire because the plutocracy are going to be ingratiating themselves with him. That's how they get the politicians. They didn't quite get Ilhan Omar. They didn't quite get Rashida Tlaib. They didn't quite get AOC. They didn't quite get the couple that lost their bid. Specifically the guy from New York and the young lady from St. Louis. They didn't. Those kept their guns on. They kept with the program. We are going to have to ensure that Mandami continues with the program. Again, remember, we are the ethical ones. We are the moral ones. We are the ones who believe in humanity. We are the ones who believe in policies that help people. Do not allow that to be denied. And don't let them bring all the other crap to put a facade on to change that. Walk with our heads up high, go into MAGA land and win. All right. Let me see. I think I may have fixed it. I did a fix around it, Radnin. Let's see if it worked. All right. While I was playing the video, I was working on it. I didn't forget about you, Radnin. Let's go ahead and see if it works. Put that out there. Please work. No, it didn't. Dang it. All right. Okay. I am going to have to work on that after hours, Radnin. I'm going to have to work on that after hours. I'm sorry. I don't know. Something changed in my setup and I don't know what it is. We'll figure it out. Anyway, got another video for you. This one is a caller to my morning show. Her name is Uju. Sometimes she shows up at 4 as well, at 3 o'clock on this show as well. But her message was so tight that I wanted to play that, so I cleaned it up a bit and I've got it to play for you all now. And I think it's in concert with with the speech that I gave at the Montgomery County. I think Uju is on to exactly what we're talking about. She nails it. Check this out. Yes, I can hear you, Uju.
Good morning. I have two thoughts. One of them was once Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's coming to her epiphany or whatever she's going through right now. I was asking my husband, I said, if we legitimately treat racism and MAGA as the disease that it is, because I'm in healthcare, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to make a light of like alcoholism, but if we treat it like a disease, like if someone's an alcoholic, right, and decides that they want to actually do all the things to heal themselves, right? So they check themselves into AA, they go through the steps, and they really, really work hard on it. And I told my husband, I said, if we treat MAGA and racism like that, and someone who is racist and with someone who is MAGA, and they legitimately want to cure themselves of the disease, and they go through all the steps and really, really, really atone, could they legitimately integrate into society, and could we have space for them? And when I said it that way, he was like, maybe if you legitimately treat it like a disease and they go through all the steps and they really, really atone and they make penance and et cetera. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there, just things that we're thinking about as far as, essentially reconnecting with our fellow Americans.
With regards to treating MAGA and racism as a disease, right? It is. I agree with you, and in fact, I've said that many times on my 3:00 program. That and the example that I would use is why I don't hate MAGA, why I engage MAGA. I would say if you have a child and your child have a mental illness, is it possible for you to hate that child? The truth is no. You go ahead and you work with them, and even as they lash out, you work with them. So I think, to put it bluntly, Uju, I think you nailed it. We have to treat it for what it is, and it genuinely is a mental disorder. And we are not saying this facetiously. When you believe in the conspiracy theories that you believe when those conspiracy theories can actually inculcate your mind, that's something mentally wrong with you. When somebody can ask you a question, do you support X, Y, Z? And you say, absolutely not. I will never support that. And then you say, but that's what Trump did. And you are able to rationalize that immediately after saying you don't support that. That's a mental disorder. And it may not sound kind to, let's say, some person that is still strong MAGA listening to me. It may not sound kind, but it is real. It's a mental problem that you have taught yourself the machinations to make irrationality normal. Go ahead, Uju.
And one more thing I want to say, and another idea, because in this day and age, we're trying to figure out, we're in the thick of things right now, and I think honestly it's a blessing, because I feel like Black and brown people in this country have been streaming into the echo chamber, and everybody has just been like, pick yourself up the bootstrap. It's not that bad. So actually, I'm kind of happy that the hood is out, that we actually finally, as Americans, see how vile and the small minority who are vile and evil are trying to drag us down. But I was telling my husband, I said, part of being in the thick of things in the valley, which is what we're in right now, all of us actually have to look up and realize that there is light at the end of the tunnel. And we should start thinking about how we're going to start the renewal and the repair process. And I think that when we finally get out of this, big tech has to be broken up. And one of the things we as the people must demand, when they're broken up, we have to demand that we know where these rage-based and rage comments are coming from. Because I think people have been lied to because unlike, take the Cracker Barrel situation, for example, right? Cracker Barrel did the thing. they decided to rebrand. And because of bots, and now we know it was bots
Right.
that literally acted like it was like the worst thing that everybody, the bots were just clicking. Here's a company who literally decided to rebrand, no matter what you think of the brand. It literally did the work anyway. It was almost like corporate espionage. So I think that part of what we need to do moving forward is when they are broken up, we have to demand that they have to now start letting us know where these accounts are coming from. And if they refuse to, we have to find them, and that money goes towards some kind of digital justice or something. Because the problem is in real time, they're really, really causing serious harm. And it should be unethical and it should be illegal. But that's all I have to say. So thinking
Thank
of
you.
how we get out of this.
Thank you very much, Uju. Very smart commentary, very necessary commentary, and very correct commentary. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Uju is absolutely right.
Everyone.
Thank you. Uju nailed it. She so nailed it that Cheryl Elkins, who is a scientist, says the following. Dr. Gary Sluskin treats violence as a disease. Uju's point are directly aligned with his. Its exposure and susceptibility and leads to infection. Its exposure and susceptibility and leads to infection. Definitely analogous. Absolutely so. And again, it's a disease. Now, look, there are some people. Look, there are a lot of things that influence this. Fear. A particular sect in this country believing that they are losing a power they really never had. That it was just implied that they had it, because the only ones with the real power in this country has always been a small elite to the top who use the others as institutionals. Well, I should call it what I actually call it antiseptic slaves. Most people are used, in fact, as antiseptic slaves. We've talked about that many a times. So Uju nailed it. Now, I think it's important. We talked about atoning, right? Atoning in with regards to these folks who have done these grotesque things, even like we have MTG Marjorie Taylor Greene on 60 Minutes that I was told that I needed to watch. I haven't watched it yet, but she is trying to semi-atone. She tried to semi-atone on the View, but yesterday I understand that she wasn't quite as atoning. Well, her acceptance back into honest, ethical society will depend on her doing the right thing. Like I said, atoning means accepting that you've made a mistake. Like that guy that I placed on who switched from being MAGA to now having a foundation that is helping people leave MAGA. He's atoned fully. As far as I'm concerned, he has come back to morality. Okay? But those that simply are changing because of their financial situation, yes, we will use their vote financially. But remember, they're just doing that because of their financial situation. They haven't changed morally. Those after, as Uju said, when we get out of this funk, when we get out of this dark period, they must be held to pay. Justice must apply to them in some form of the other. Scarlet letter is one of the good things, meaning they are excommunicated from certain things until they really learn the lesson of atonement for the evil that they've done. But I tell you what, most of the ones that I've seen converted, uh, they they come by it honestly and said, "Oh my God, I can't believe I was in that frame of mind." But for those who are doing it otherwise, they must atone or they must be scarlet lettered. In other words, let me give an example. Those thugs that are arresting people right now and for in this immigration stuff, every time they need to be identified, and restaurants and all the others need to shun them. When they come other places, that guy was ICE, and they need to know the shame that's going to be coming their way. Because, like I said, what they've done to human beings. When you see that young lady that was pulled off coming to visit her parents in Austin and just thrown off to Honduras, a place that the girl doesn't know, the evil within these people and what they're doing. And I don't want to hear anybody say it's just a job. There are some jobs that I wouldn't take. I'm struggling with having this program and have been offered thousands to become a black right winger because they wanted to use me. And even as days gone and said, man, that kind of money would be cool. I said no. Values worth more. Values, integrity, ethics, morality. Those thugs that are taking those jobs with ICE, those thugs that are taking those jobs with ICE, they could have said no, or they could simply not apply for that kind of a job. That is almost like saying becoming being hired by the slave master to whip your slaves, being hired to walk the people of the Trail of Tears back to Oklahoma, or not back to, but to Oklahoma. That's not a reputable job, and I think they ought to pay a price. Society must condemn them, and society must, until they come strictly and atone profusely, they must pay. Anyway, farmers. The farmers are, Donald Trump has cost farmers over $40 billion. Over 40 billones de dólares. Over $40 billion. Over $40 billion. And what is he doing? Oh, he had a good thing today. He's going to give them $12 billion. And I guarantee you, most of that money won't even go into the pockets of the farmer, the little farmer. I guarantee you most of that is going into the pockets of the big agribusinesses. You want to bet? You want to bet? And that is what we have to be cognizant of. I have one video to play about the farmers, and then we'll take it from there. Check this out. We'll take it on the other side. A farmer who clearly knows math, when the time was appropriate, called out other farmers who supported Donald Trump pretty much as being naive, uneducated folks who have no business sense. I want you to listen to how he says it. He didn't quite say it that graphically, but I want you to listen to this, and then we'll take it on the other side.
Joining us, Arkansas soybean farmer Scott Brown. Scott, really good to have you. Thanks for being here. $12 billion. How's that sound to you?
Well, I appreciate the help, but it's a far cry from what we need. Just the loss in corn this year with a record crop was over 16 billion. The loss in soybeans at production is around 11 billion. That doesn't count cotton and rice, which are even bigger losses than that.
So this $12 billion is not going to make up for this 1 year. I mean, say China goes back to buying soybeans and other crops as they were buying before this trade war. Is $12 billion not enough to bridge that gap?
Probably not. You've got a lot of boys that's got $400,000 to $700,000 worth of rollover debt that's eat their equity up in the last 2.5 years. They don't have anywhere to go. They don't have anything to do. And you've got guys that are not going to take that ground. So if you don't make everybody whole and let everybody stand on their own 2 feet and get off this hamster wheel of government aid, which is what we all want. The taxpayer wants it. We want it. Everybody wants it. You need to square everybody up. Senator Moran even said it was a $40 billion problem. So, I mean, his own senator says $40 billion, and what's he come up with? $12 billion.
12 billion is not 40 billion. I'll give you that. There's also some talk out there. It's an unverified report, but a marketing firm reported that U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer said there's no deal as of now for soybeans from China. That sent the markets, by the way, plunging, the futures.
Yes, ma'am. We lost 60-something cents of the money they gave back, which none of the farmers actually had that money anyway. The elevators got that. Most of us had beans sold early in the fall because we were scared that there wasn't going to be a rally. So this dollar that there was in the rally was actually the elevators got all that money, not us. But yeah, it's backed it up. January beans are sub $11. You got, with the basis, you got next year sub $11, and you've got everybody screaming from StoneX down that inputs are going up next year. So we're going to be back here next year if somebody doesn't fix this right and address the problem instead of actually putting Band-Aids on it.
Help me understand, I'm sorry, the mindset of the American farmer, because you're kind of an outlier here on this. But the American farmer has generally gone for Donald Trump, even after the first term when Donald Trump also imposed tariffs and also had to bail out farmers, gave them a big bailout. They came back for him again in 2024, and this is happening all over again, but in an even bigger way. Why does the American farmer support Donald Trump?
You have a large number of farmers that can't separate their morals from their business. They vote their conscience and they vote what they morally believe. But farming is a business. At the end of the day, this is a business, just like a trucking company or a train company. And it's about dollars and cents. It's about what do we make? How much can we make? We have to feed the American people first and then worry about feeding the world. But this is a business. That's what your banker will tell you every year when you go down there. You either cash flow or you don't cash flow. So you either run this like a business or you run this like a hobby. Some guys can't differentiate between the two, and that's about as honest as I can be about it.
Is that what it is? Because they'll also say that Donald Trump is great for business, that they believe in him for business, even when the business is not going so well. We haven't seen a market break among farmers in their support for Donald Trump, even since this has been happening.
I mean, what's good about it? I mean, you've got Arkansas's leading the nation in farm bankruptcies. You've got farm bankruptcies up. You've got profits down. Arkansas will tell you they lost $6 billion this year in farm income. I mean, ask a banker. They were testifying in Congress, 2 or 3 months ago, screaming and yelling that can the farmer not understand where he's at? I mean, I trucked for years before I farmed. I understood exactly what it cost per mile to haul a load of cattle from Missouri to Kansas. And I had to get above that to make a living. Or we couldn't pay drivers. We couldn't pay for insurance. We couldn't run our business. Farming's the same way. I don't understand how come they can't do the math. This is all math to me. It's just a business.
So yes, Donald Trump is giving them $12 billion after cratering their exports, meaning soybeans, rice, cotton, everything he cratered for them. And he decided he's going to give them $12 billion. Let's watch how much of that $12 billion are actually going to get into the farmers' hands as opposed to corporations. We know where it's going. All the big guys are going to get the money. But the other thing is that he points out that $12 billion that Donald Trump is going to give them is not going to cover it. After all, even the Secretary of Agriculture claims that it is a $40 billion at least hole that they are going to have to cover. But of course, there'll be no covering. The farmers will just consistently go out of business as the plutocrats buy up their land on the cheap for them to make themselves quasi-whole. Well, they won't be making themselves whole. They're just going to be giving up the land that they have. But this farmer made it clear. How can Arkansas farmers vote for Donald Trump when Arkansas is the center of farm bankruptcies? How can they support Donald Trump when he comes back of the billions that he's collected in tariffs? He comes and he gives them a pittance in $12 billion to solve their problems. How can they really support Donald Trump? Well, as he said, it's about math. And apparently these guys simply don't know math. But I'll go once. I'll differ, or not differ. I'll tell what it is. Let me tell you. When we talk about in an earlier call, we had a call from one of our listeners who pointed out that MAGAism is really a mental disorder. And when that disorder supersedes your intellect, that's a real disorder. That's a real mental issue. And that is what those farmers who are still supporting Donald Trump, those farmers who are somehow thinking that Donald Trump is going to ultimately make them whole and seem oblivious to what he's doing, using them for the vote as he maximizes his profits with the corporatocracy, with those who are willing to pay him off until they see that. And you know what? Some of them will. Over the weekend, I went over and I gave a little talk in Montgomery, a very red area. And the one thing that I said is what folks are going to have to do is go out there and speak to these people eye to eye. Take the sneers, but speak to them eye to eye, mano a mano. Listen to what they have to say and use their words to interrogate their actual values, what they're doing, and in that manner, showing them that in reality, are those really your values? Or who is actually best representing your values again? Make them come to that conclusion. That's how we bring him over. Anyway, this farmer all but condemned his brethren who are still supporting Donald Trump. Absolutely so. Now, Paul Fleming says, a reminder that the Trump administration sidelined U.S. soybean growers by propping up Argentina, one of our biggest competitors for soybean exports, with $20 billion, with U.S. farmers had no support. Check it out. There was no problem giving Argentina $20 billion. Actually, it's $40 billion. No problem. But to the farmers, the America First farmers, he gives $12 billion, of which many of that they likely will not see. Think about that. Think about that. Now, there's one from Rudnin says farmers got screwed by Doge, deleted their USAID exports, then screwed farmers again with tariffs, which resulted in a trade war and our nation becoming an international pariah and on the world markets as countries work around us. You know what is so funny, Mr. Rudnin? Think this out. I think it's important. USAID did two great things, right? It fed folks that needed to be fed, and it used the resources of the overproduction of the American farmer to send that food overseas. Good thing. Even billionaire Bill Gates called out Doge, his friend Elon Musk, and said it's a billionaire killing poor people. A billionaire killing poor people. I mean, if you want to know why billionaires should not exist, it's not only from a moral standpoint, they never earned it, it's a parasitic. You can only be a billionaire if you're a parasite. And I want to get that into your I want to inculcate that into one's mind. If you are a billionaire, you are a parasite, whether you are overtly or covertly. You are a parasite. I don't care which billionaire, benevolent billionaire or not, you are a parasite because you cannot build that on your own. It's other people building that for you. The capitalist system says, I am allowing you to exploit. In other words, for all the people that got you that wealth, you take it from them. Not you take their excess labor, you take their excess production, and it become yours legally by design of the system. The system is working as design, and by design it's an extractive, heartless system. Hard for us to accept that when we were indoctrinated into that belief from birth. But check out the last video that I did with Dr. Richard, economist and professor at where is he? At Massachusetts. I think it's a Massachusetts, not Institute of Technology, but the other school. Check it out, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Anyhow, we are at 53, and guess what? I can actually take some calls if the phone works. That is because I don't know if there's a channel, a spurious channel, some. Oh, you know what I just remembered? I think over the weekend, did I do that over the weekend? Installed a new switch. That may have had something to do with it. That other sound card. I don't know. I got to figure that out. Anyhow, people. Anyway, anybody want to try to call? Let's see if it works. I don't know if it's gonna. If that affected it, I need to do a test. But anyhow, 281-823-7747, 281-823-7747. Vamos a ver si funciona. Yo creo que va a funcionar. I think it's going to work. I think it's going to function correctly because I'm using other channels. How did I set that up? Yeah, I'm using another channel that is not internal for the phone. So that actually may work. That actually may work. All right, Curtis Sparks, welcome aboard. Let's see if I have anything else. Agolf Twitler says he just cut EBT by twice that, and that money goes to farmers and hungry Americans both. Exactly. Very good, Agolf Twitler. That bullshittery just don't match. The EBT funding helps an extra 50 million Americans and the farmers both. And you know what is so funny? It actually generates economic activity as well. Again, these guys don't have a lot upstairs. It's just like I talked about Dan Patrick. We have an uneducated radio show host that is the most powerful politician in Texas. In Texas, the lieutenant governor is actually more powerful than the governor itself, and that's who we have running our state: a uneducated, uninformed, evil man named Dan Patrick that runs the state of Texas. But you know what? A friend of mine is running against him. Well, one friend and another person that I know. He's running as an independent. Mike Collier is running against the attorney general. And you know what? Mike Collier lives right around the corner. He's running against Mr. Dan Patrick, which is a good thing. Which is a good thing. All right, folks. Una vez más lo voy a repetir. One more time, I'm going to call it out. Give me a call, 281-823-7747. 281-823-7747. Let's see if it works. Come on, somebody, call me. Let's see if it works. I want to see if my phone still works. I know some of my regulars that always call are there as well. Give me a call. Llámame. Dime una llamada, por favor. There we go. All right, Bobby. Okay, I did. Can you hear me, Bobby?
Hey, good afternoon. Yeah, it's working. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly, and
Hello,
it's
hello?
working. Yeah. Can you hear me? You don't
Yeah,
hear me.
real quick.
Yeah.
No, I hear you. I can hear you.
Okay.
I hear you. I just wanted to say the fact that we have to subsidize healthcare and the farmers is just an indication that the system is completely broken. Like, if you have to give them billions of dollars, if you have to, as Americans, we're like, oh, we need subsidized healthcare because they're asking for so much money. So we're just begging for our own tax dollars back so that we can just give them what they're asking for, which is enough money to buy their yachts and live in River Oaks, obviously. It's
Yeah.
like the whole system needs to change if, they have to give, Americans, and I'm for it because it's so expensive, of course, but, without it, we can't give them as much as they want. It's just like I don't understand,
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was
I
just saying, I don't understand how so many people vote against their interests. Amazing, how we're in this state.
Did you hear what the farmer said? He said, these guys, they don't know. I mean, it's like, you remember Uju talk about a mental disorder. And the farmer all but said that. He said,
Yes.
it's math. Come on, it's math. It's not all that
But you know what
difficult.
else it also is?
Yes.
The politicians are getting paid so much money by these big corporations that they're going to go against, even though they know what the constituents want. They're going to go for what the big corporations want because they're getting paid so much money.
Right.
And that goes on both sides. Like the Clintons, their net worth skyrocketed. Once they started their charitable organizations and all these different things. Spots where people can just drop off donations.
Bobby,
but anyway,
hold on
that
a
was
second.
just my thought on it. I believe you're completely correct.
Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you. We have, I think, my brother is on the line. Ray, are you on it still? Ray? Okay, Ray must have hung up.
I'm still here.
Yeah, no, but we had Ray.
Yeah,
Ray,
I need to hang up probably.
All right, thank you, Kale. Thank you very much, Bobby. All right, it seems
All right, have
like
a good
we
day.
missed you too now.
All parties have disconnected the line.
Yeah, it seems like we lost Ray. Ray, sorry about that, but it's 3:59 now, and the only thing I need to ask is that our people, please go ahead and consider becoming paid subscribers of our platform. Our Substack subsidizes all the different things that you do. As I go out and speak to people, all of that it's on our it's on our own dime. That was a hour and 30-minute drive to Montgomery. I was like, my God, I didn't realize Montgomery, Texas was so far away from Kingwood, Texas. Anyway, but we do all of that because we are out there doing the work. So all I'm asking, consider becoming a paid subscriber of our network, meaning of our Substack, Coffee. And in doing so, you support all of what we are doing. And we work hard at it and we work cheaply. Anyway, I'm putting the link in both chats. Please consider politicsandright.com/newsletter. Politicsandright.com/newsletter. Anyway, it's 4 o'clock and I got to get out of here. I want to thank all of you for being here with me today. You can continue at politicsandright.com/newsletter to sign up. I love you all. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics and Right. And you guys know how I end this, baby. I am what? Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.